So this is my 2001 Ford Ranger 4x4 extended cab. It was once a 4-liter, it is now a 2.2-liter Kubota 4-cylinder swap. And in this video, we're going to go over pros, cons, how it's set up, how it's connected to the transmission, and everything about it. Everything that all you guys want to know. So these rims came from some 4-wheel off-road website. We'll put the link down here so you guys can find that. And the tires, they're basically the best all-around tire for still pretty cheap. These are KO2s, that's what everyone calls them, because it says KO2 right there. And they're LT 265/75 R16s. That means it's a 16-inch rim. There's actually no lift on this truck. The Ranger itself is the, whatever it's called, the FX4 off-road whatever. I don't know what the original name is, but it's just torsion bars cranked in the front, and then it has a factory little block in the back that's maybe 1.5 inches or 2 inches or something like that. It's a 5-speed manual. It's the original Ford Ranger tranny that came with the truck. I got a glow shift. It's an EGT gauge. It also measures boost and I believe it's oil temp. And then here I got the new snow performance gauge, and it is obviously for methanol injection. It measures PSI and how much it's injecting. With this swap, EGTs are very important, so we'll talk a little bit about that later. So these cool little decal badge things I got off eBay. You can get everything on eBay, and they're basically, when I saw these, I'm like, oh, that looks kind of like how the Fords have their Power Stroke thing here. It says Power Stroke V8, so that's the idea. That's the idea I had putting that there. We're gonna move around to the front of the truck where all the important stuff is. So I'll start with just the model of motor. We probably get a comment a day asking what kind of motor is that. It is a Kubota V2203. It was used primarily in carrier reefer units, but also later on Bobcat started using them, and John Deere, and a bunch of manufacturers use them for small, mostly skid steers. So it's a skid steer and refrigeration unit. We'll move next to the turbo. That is, I believe it's off some 1.8 or 1.9 Volkswagen. It's some KO turbo. I'm not sure which one. The exhaust is a full 3-inch downpipe to a 3-inch straight pipe all the way out the back with a 4-inch tip. Obviously it's diesel, so the braking system works a little bit different than a gas vehicle. I believe this brake booster is off of some GM Detroit diesel. I'm almost positive. It's a factory 4-wheel drive system. Cruise control is hooked up to the throttle. The power steering reservoir, from what I can see, had to be moved. You need to make an alternator bracket up in the front, because I guess it's in a different spot when it's in a reefer. Down in the center, there's an idler pulley that was added. I'm not sure, I remember something about having to reposition the oil filter, but that looks pretty factory to me, so don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that had to be relocated. I had all this intercooler piping done from a local shop. There's an intercooler up front, which nothing had to be changed up top, but there's a little bit had to be changed in the inner grill just to fit, because it goes down about that far more than the grill lets it, so you have to chop the grill just a little bit on each side. Doesn't change anything structurally from what I can tell. Rad's all stock 4-liter. I have a electric rad fan here from I believe it's a 2003 Sunfire, and AC is hooked up manually, but it's still there. It works. Heater works. There's a custom adapter plate. It's a nice thick aluminum adapter plate there, and I believe it's the flywheel has to be machined. You have to machine the flywheel, I believe, to adapt to this motor, but most shops can figure that out. Another thing I got is the Snow Performance Methanol Injection Kit. This is a Stage 2 kit. I thought it was from a Volkswagen, but it's just a Stage 2 kit. You can pick this up for any diesel truck, just different nozzles for different size motors. This has a size 1. Thanks to Snow Performance for that. They gave me a little bit of a discount. Haven't done full testing on this, but from what I can tell, it's been working. This is just a cheap eBay horn. It's branded, Bad Boy branded, I believe. It's pretty loud. The stock horn that was on here, but I decided to go a little bit louder. Might go to train horn someday. So these lights are from eBay. They're some Spider something. If you type in Ford Ranger Spider lights, they'll probably come up. SPYDER, I believe it was. Just like typical old style diesels, it's leaking a bit of horsepower right there. So you can't really see it from here, but the oil pan did have to be a little bit modified to fit. It still takes 9-10 liters of oil though, so I don't know how much the last owner really cut out. We'll start with the cons, and the main one is exhaust gas temperature, otherwise known as EGTs. The truck is made to have a 4-liter motor in it, or a 3-liter motor in it, and it has a 2.2, which is actually 0.1 of a liter smaller than the smallest available engine in a Ranger. Yeah, it is a little bit undersized. I'm still working on getting the EGTs fixed out. You can still go between 60 and 70 miles an hour on the highway, which I do all the time. You just have to watch on a steep incline. But the reason I got that meth injection is to fix that. Like I said, I haven't done all the testing, but it is, from what I can see, it's been working. I only took it up into 3rd, 4th gear here. So another way to fix that in the future, I might go to a little bit bigger turbo, maybe upgrade the wheel first if that's a lot cheaper, see if that can move any more air. And I can fit a little bit bigger intercooler. I have to do a little bit more chopping down below, but that is another cheaper option to helping with that problem. Other cons would be like typical stuff, like the 4-liter is probably faster than this. Like you can step on this thing 1st, 2nd, a little bit of 3rd, but once you get to the higher gear ratios, it's going to be more load, which equals more EGTs. So I'm sure a 4-liter, even a 3-liter, would be faster in a 1/4 mile, maybe even a 2.3 liter. The power is there down low though, because it's a diesel. It's not for everyone, but it does sound really cool. We did a video a while back of gas mileage. Not 100% sure if we got our math right, but if I do it just how many kilometers I get, if I run it right empty, this is going to go 850. I can probably push 900 if I'm just going one steady speed. And from what I can see, lots of people are only getting 350. Some people are lucky to get 400, 450 kilometers per tank on a 4-wheel drive, 4-liter standard truck. So if you do the math there, this thing gets double a 4-liter, and it's fun to drive. It actually really is. It's hard to stall, which makes it easy to drive in town. When you're in traffic, you just keep it in 1st gear, and you barely need to touch the clutch most of the time. Slow traffic speed is just kind of idling there. It's actually been pretty reliable. I've only put 4,000, 4,500 kilometers on it this past year. I did have the last owner's homemade bracket for the alternator broke. I had a shop fix that, and now it's a little bit different. The last one was on a spring. This one's fully manual adjusting because it's the belt tensioner as well. Would I do a Kubota swap over a 4BT swap? If I didn't have this truck, I would say I would do a 4BT. But because I have this truck, I have a truck that directly copy from, I would probably do another Kubota swap. I don't know if I would do it in the biggest truck, like the extended cab 4-wheel drive. I would probably do a 2-wheel drive truck. That's just, it works, and I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna try to make it work flawlessly in here, but you probably don't need to go through methanol injection and all this tweaking if you go a 2-wheel drive truck route. Also, we got cab lights. Obviously, Ford Rangers never came with those. That's a heavy duty, 2,500, 3,500 truck thing, transport truck. Also, not sure what they're off of. I'm sure if you just Google something in my throat. If you just Google cab lights on pickup trucks, you can find what model those are off of pretty easily. they work and they don't leak because I had them sealed. So that just about wraps it up for this truck. Any questions you have, let us know in the comments. I'll be glad to answer them. And yeah, stay tuned, we got more videos coming. If you want to see how we did the methanol injection install, click here. If you want to see the build series right from the very beginning, click here. And don't forget to subscribe.